Hello, folks, and welcome back to Chris Wyatt Africa. This is Chris in central Pennsylvania with an update on the situation on energy in South Africa, specifically electricity generation. Now, a lot of people are frustrated at the reporting and the complaints about what's happening in South Africa and why it's taken so long to make progress. But part of this is the bureaucracy. Part of it is the white elephant, virtue signaling, egotistical parastatal project of Eskom, and of course, a great place to put your caters for patronage and to pilfer. But all that aside, bureaucracy definitely plays a role. Let me give an example of this. Now, there's some criticism I'm going to level here, and supporters of the Democratic Alliance may take offense, but fine, take offense and explain to me why this took so long. I can be understanding that, you have to do this correctly. You can't just hand out tenders. You've got to make sure they're legitimate. You got to make sure the people you're giving the contract to, awarding it to, actually have the capacity to do what they promised to do. That said, last year, the Democratic Alliance came in 2022 after the November 2021 municipal elections, in which they managed to cobble together a coalition, and they held an unprecedented first ever Johannesburg Energy Indaba in May of 2022, just a few months after taking power. Now, the mayor at the time, Mpopalatsa, said that within 3 months, City Power, that's the power distribution company that the city owns, would go to the marketplace within 3 months. So May, June, July, August. So by August, they should have gone to the market to get some projects. She said that they would begin a phased approach over 18 to 24 months. Now, that was 8 months ago. Maybe this is on the timeline that Mpopalatsa and the Democratic Alliance and the Council of Joburg expected. But for those waiting for electricity, they've been wondering what's been going on for 8 months. So City Power apparently has finally gone to the marketplace to look for alternative energy sources to mitigate the load shedding. Johannesburg, the city itself, contributes 16% of South Africa's gross domestic product. So not having power in Joburg is a big impact on the economy. And it makes up 40% of Gauteng province's GDP. That's crazy. That's a lot of economic activity that's not happening. Johannesburg gets 90% of its electricity from Eskom, the parastatal, and 10% from the independent power producer, Kelvin Power. Now, what's Kelvin Power? Well, up until 2001, a power station was owned by the city of Johannesburg, Kelvin Power. It was privatized, and then it's been resold a number of times. Currently, it's owned by Investec and Nedbank Capital. That power station is 420 megawatts of coal-fired generation capacity, and it provides 10% of the current power consumption of Johannesburg. Now, part of the problem here is not Mpopalatse's fault. It's not the city of Johannesburg's fault. It is the ANC's fault. And why is that? Well, last year in July, so now we're talking August, September, October, November, December, January, 6 months ago, the ANC made big fanfare, and they said they were fixing the crisis in South Africa by scrapping the cap for letting private power generation systems go up without licensing, which was set at 100 megawatts. So since July of last year, that's been scrapped. But if you think that a company or an investor is going to be sitting around waiting and then just suddenly have a plan to take off the shelf, that's a dream. There might be somebody, but knowing the business environment in South Africa, most people probably weren't waiting to build power plants there. It took you 3 decades to lift the cap from 100 megawatts. So you can build a power plant producing up to 100 megawatts, which is not that big, and not license it. Now, what people seem to forget is that just a year prior, in June of 2021, so now another year before that, President Ramaphosa announced that the regulatory cap on electricity generation, embedded generation, would be lifted from 10 megawatts to 100. So just in June of 2021, not even 2 years ago, the South African government, protecting the parastatal Eskom, prohibited anybody from building power bigger than 10 megawatts. So that's why you have no competition. Now, when he lifted that from 10 megawatts to 100 megawatts, they said it opened the way for private firms to proceed with long delayed projects without having to comply with onerous licensing requirements from 10 to 100. Well, how many plants have been built since then? Not much, mostly solar, photovoltaic, and the crew and things like that, or residential programs. So now, 8 months after Joburg's Energy Indaba, City Power is looking to secure extra capacity from diversified sources, including solar, gas, battery storage, waste energy, and gas to power. The city of Johannesburg is hoping to add 400 to 500 megawatts of additional power to the grid. Good luck with that. Good luck. You're not going to get that overnight. That's not going to happen nearly as quickly as you like to. And this is the problem with bureaucracies. This problem has been a slow burn. We've known this since I lived in Botswana in 2008. The crisis first became apparent to the public who was paying attention in 2007, 2007, nearly 2 decades ago. This is insanity. Absolute insanity. And who's been at the helm at the national, virtually every provincial level, and most municipalities since 2007? The African National Congress, the people who brought you this disaster. It was in June of 2021, they finally lifted the 10 megawatts to 100, which was enough. At the time, I said, just scrap it all together. Had that happen, you might have a power station or two approaching production here sometime soon, if they want solar or wind turbines. South Africa's crisis is self-inflicted. And one begins to wonder at some point, is this intentional? Is Eskom designed to fail? Has the ANC set it up to destroy the economy and destroy the country? I mean, ask yourself, can they be this stupid? Can they be this idiotic? Can they have this little strategic vision? Well, at some point, you have to say, yeah, I guess so. Anyway, folks, looking for solutions, but too little, too late, a day late and $1 short. Yep, that's what we're sitting here with. Anyway, South Africans, Joburg thinks they're going to solve this problem for non-existent private energy production, which isn't there. They may get a few megawatts of power. Maybe they won't. This is a problem that should have been solved a long time ago. The only immediate solution is to ramp up the coal-fired power production, bring back qualified engineers immediately and hire them instantly, and then get these car power ships burning liquefied natural gas off the coast and get about 6 of them down there if they've got that many available. And that will take the immediate pressure off, and then sack the entire board from Eskom and start all over with legitimate people. Thanks a lot, folks. Hit the like button if you don't mind. Become a subscriber if you're not one. That's an update on Joburg's efforts to overcome the debacle at Eskom. Cheers.